Hey everybody, Keith Dotson here, and in this video, I'm back in Cairo, Illinois. There it is, in the middle of the U.S., sitting on the confluence of the Ohio River and the Mississippi. I was here for the first time back in 2017, but the light was very harsh on that trip, so I thought I'd come back on a gray day, see how the city has fared, and to try to get shots that I'm happier with this time. You can see my black and white photographs at the end of the video, and if you stay to the end, I'll be discussing a few of them in detail. I hope you'll stay for that. That's the Ohio River. Just about a few miles south of here, all that water merges into the Mississippi and travels on south to New Orleans, where it pours into the Gulf of Mexico. Cairo was an important river town in its day. Now it has a reputation as one of America's destinations for people who like to shoot urban decay and ruins. I'm not going to go into the history too much. To be honest, it's got some pretty gnarly, ugly stuff that I prefer just to leave alone for purposes of this video. You know, people treating other people very badly. But a variety of factors have resulted in this once grand and prosperous river town rapidly depopulating. But people still live here. It's not a ghost town, and the few people I've met here have been extremely friendly to me. Sadly, but understandably, the abandoned structures are systematically being erased from the landscape here. I've said in my videos many times that I view my own photographs of abandoned places as a form of architectural preservation, and in Cairo, it's very appropriate. The town is already a mere shadow of its former self, architecturally speaking. A lot of the old buildings are gone. This Google Street View captured in 2013 shows just how many structures on this one street have already been torn down. These two are the sole survivors. I always take note of the Ironworks. I've never heard of the Union Iron and Foundry before, but that's pretty cool. Made in St. Louis, as so many of these Ironwork storefronts were. These incredible old ghost signs have survived in a pretty vivid state because they were under that building that we saw in the street view a minute ago. That peeling advertisement for Ayers Pills for the Liver has not only outlived the product, but it almost outlived the city. Ayers Pills for the Liver was a miracle cure, I put that in quotation marks, that promised to aid in numerous ailments including constipation, indigestion, dyspepsia, heartburn, and disorders of the liver. Ayers Pills were called the best remedy for gout, dropsy, and kidney complaints. They even promised to open pores, allowing a release of inflammatory secretions. It seems to have been offered in the U.S. from the 1870s until at least 1900. When I first came to Cairo in 2017, I saw this old house with a scaffold over the front door and assumed it was being renovated. Now, 4 years later, the scaffolding is still there. It's like someone stopped work and never came back. Incredible and sad, too. Somewhere there's a sound of dripping water and it's echoing. It's rather eerie, let me tell you. The Gym movie theater was originally built in 1910 and had a big fire in the 1930s and was rebuilt. Closed forever in 1978, but underwent some renovations in the 1990s when they made some plans to reopen, but unfortunately it was never completed. The last time I was here, it was still unboarded and you could peek into the lobby. Now, this is what I call a cruel irony, you guys. On the right is a burned building, and across the street is the now vacant old Cairo Fire Station number 1. We're going to walk up the street, see what's up there, and we'll loop back and see those in a little while. This is a funeral home, and as far as I can tell, it's still in operation. So creepy. Reminds me of that funeral home from that old movie Phantasm. I'm sure they're very nice people, and they definitely provide an important service, so I don't mean to disparage it. I made a lot of images of this old house. I was trying to find the right angle that allowed the chimney and the roof line to be visually separated from all those trees in the background. Gotta feed the Instagram. It's probably hard to see in the video, but the front door leads right to a set of wooden stairs. Bad feng shui. Okay, y'all, we're back at that burned building along Washington Avenue. This was the home of the newspaper called the Cairo Evening Citizen. They were in operation for a long time. I don't know if they still publish or not. It looks like they've made an effort to salvage some of the materials, and once again it appears they started work but never finished the job. Okay, y'all, here are the images I shot on this trip, and after we look at these, I'm going to have an in-depth discussion of a few of them, so I hope you'll stick around. Hey everybody, I want to discuss this image for a minute. We're looking at the high-resolution file in Photoshop now. This is one of my favorites from the day, but I made a serious compositional error. Look at the way the vertical of that street lamp aligns with the frame of that window. I could kick myself for not seeing that on site and taking one step over to the left to move that visually to the right a little bit. It would have made a world of difference. Look at the incredible levels of detail. And as we go into this shadow area, this is why I go on and on in my videos about the soft, gloomy light for black and white, especially for architectural subjects. If I'd had more bright sunlight here, this would have been a whole different look. Suddenly, shadows become part of the composition, and while that can be used to great effect, it's not the look I prefer. Here, the shapes and textures define themselves without having to contend with hard shadows. I love this hand-painted sign, and I wonder what the special offer was. How long has that sign even been there? I really love that texture on the base of the lamppost, where the paint has started to fade away. On this image of the abandoned buildings on 7th Street, I wanted to give the composition room to breathe, a lot of air around the buildings. It looks offset to the right though, and that's because I wanted to be sure that that church steeple in the background was kept in the frame. I'm not sure it works compositionally, but I like it personally. On this photograph of these broken old signs, I find it to be an interesting image in and of itself, but I really loved it because of the negative spaces. As soon as I looked at this in the viewfinder, I thought, wow, inside my head. To me, an image like this borders on abstraction. And if you'll bear with me, I want to discuss one more image. This is my absolute favorite shot of the day. Someone said it's a shame the grass is so tall, but I actually like the fact that this old house looks like it's being consumed by nature. It's like it's achieving its destiny after a long life. Someone claimed online that this was an impromptu infirmary in the American Civil War, but I wasn't able to verify that, so I don't know. I think it might have just been an old house. I think as people age, you can read some of our life story by our wrinkles and our scars. Houses are the same way. Under the top row of windows, you can see where there was once a roof line for a porch. In that window, you can see the white tile. This must have been a bathroom. And look at that delicious craquelure on the paint in the door. I love the detail of the brickwork along the roof line. And the ghostly reflection of the trees in that window pane. Look at the stars on those anchors that prevent the brick walls from collapsing outwards. Anyways, if you stayed this long, thank you for watching. Be sure to visit my website at keithdotson.com.